Former Deputy Finance Minister Jabu Moleketi is slamming UDM leader Bantu Holomisa's testimony at the PIC Commission. He says Holomisa's corruption allegations against the Harith and Labashe groups are without any factual support. eNCA's Heidi Jacques has been following the inquiry from the beginning. Heidi with me in studio now to talk about the latest developments. And Heidi, Jabu Moleketi's testimony is particularly important because he was Deputy Minister, and as we know the way the PIC set up, when you are Deputy Finance Minister, you also are PIC Chairperson. So what is the basis of his issues with Holomisa's evidence?
So you must remember that the reason why these directors, as far as Labashe and Harith are concerned, the reason why they're at this commission of inquiry is because they've been heavily implicated by Holomisa. And Holomisa said that the setup of Harith Fund Manager, the company, is at the back of PIC funding, and an empire was built because of the PIC funding. And as you rightfully say, at the time that this funding was given to Harith, it was a funding that was established. It was Jabu Molekete's vision to create a Pan-African infrastructure investment fund in terms of getting infrastructure on the African continent. And the seed capital came from the PIC. But the big question around this was that at the time that they got the funding, Jabu Moleketi was the Deputy Finance Minister, and he was also the chairperson of the PIC board. And a couple of years later, or actually at the same time that this funding was given, he became a non-executive director, and still to this day he's a non-executive director for this Harith group, which is the company that was created from the seed funding that was given by the PIC. And Holomisa was saying that this was done unlawfully because now he's benefited from that funding, and this whole empire has been created. And you know, Jabu Moleketi then left government in 2008 and continued to stay with this funding and this group, which was eventually called Harith Fund Managers. So Jabu Moleketi saying there is no conflict of interest. He made it very clear from the beginning that he's a non-executive director. He said he received no kind of director's fees or any of that sort while he was still in government. And then when he left government, that's of course when he became the non-executive director, and all those fees were paid to him, and still to this day. But the biggest issue that Holomisa has was at the time of the establishment, it so happened that Jabu Moleketi was involved in the seed capital. He was the chairperson of the PIC board, he was the Deputy Finance Minister, and he remains to be involved in Harith Fund Managers, which he says is a major conflict of interest given his previous roles and his involvement in that from the beginning.
Just as far as the establishment of these fund managers and the appointment of people who were then put in charge, Tshepo Mahlwele is slowly becoming a central figure in this level or this part of the evidence, and today Moleketi also facing some questions about Mahlwele's appointment and whether or not that was done within the confines of the law.
Exactly. So this is what happened. Thabo Mbeki said that he wants to create this fund on the African continent in terms of infrastructure developments. That is when Tshepo Mahlwele was appointed to head this kind of this fund. Then he decided to get a shelf company called Harith, and he was the CEO of this company. And the big question is why he was appointed, why there was no other person to run and head up this fund, this investment infrastructure fund. And that is the big question as to why he was the only one that was selected. And Moleketi basically saying that he wasn't involved in any way as far as the appointment of Mahlwele is concerned. But you must also remember that Mahlwele was head of corporate at the PIC at the time that this fund was established, and he resigned immediately when he was asked to head up this fund into infrastructure into Africa. So they would call it the PAIDF, but it morphed into Harith, and now you have a situation where Mahlwele is actually the CEO of Harith, and he is actually the person that headed it from the beginning, from the seed capital that was given by the PIC. I mean, it's really like a spider web because you have to link everything together. But the big question here is how Mahlwele was appointed in this position, why he was given this opportunity to be the head of it, and why only him. And Moleketi saying that he wasn't involved and there's no conflict of interest. Let's just listen to what he had to say.
The gravamen of Mr. Holomisa's evidence, insofar as it relates to me, is that by virtue of my tenure as Deputy Minister of Finance and thereby the ex officio chairman of the PIC, there exists a conflict of interest because, he claims, on the strength of facts and circumstances not yet disclosed, that I improperly use my position at the PIC to advance my private commercial interests. I understand that one of the purposes of my giving evidence before this commission is to answer the allegation made by Mr. Holomisa. I shall try my best to do so, Chairman. The problem, however, is that there are no facts or concrete circumstances alleged by him to support what he states. What he states is, in fact, a series of suspicions, speculations, suppositions, drawn, it seems, from appearances only, and resulting from a gross misunderstanding of the true manner in which the people, the companies, and the institutions he attacks, in fact, function and conduct themselves.
Moleketi, they're addressing quite directly the allegations by UDM leader Bantu Holomisa, and one of those allegations by Holomisa was that the former Deputy Finance Minister Moleketi, as well as Tsepo Mahlwele, had wanted in the establishment of these fund managers to take some of that, some of the proceeds from that to build their own empires. What was said in response to that today?
Yes, so you have a situation where Holomisa is claiming that because of the seed funding and because of the seed capital that that fund had received, which then morphed into Harith, Moleketi and Mahlwele have benefited from that. So basically saying that if it wasn't for that funding that they received from the PIC, Harith would have not existed today. But as you heard from Moleketi, he's basically saying that all these allegations are unfounded. There's no factual evidence to prove that. But I think the big question, and we actually saw the Commission of Inquiry, and the Commission is really pushing and probing and asking, do you not feel as though there was any conflict of interest, given the fact that at the time that there was this vision by Mbeki to create this fund for the African continent, Tsepo Mahlwele was then told to resign from the PIC, and he was appointed to head up this fund, which morphed into Harith, and then Jabu Moleketi was at the PIC, was the chairperson of the PIC at the time, and the Deputy Finance Minister. And today you have this massive company with major investments, in terms of infrastructure, and both of them are directors of this company. So Holomisa really saying that that needs to be further investigated. Of course, he's made it very clear that he does not have any evidence to support this. And then you have the directors actually sitting down in front of the Commission under oath saying there is no conflict of interest. It just so happened that Mahlwele was asked to head this up. No reasoning was given except that he has the kind of experience in terms of investments into infrastructure is concerned, and it just so happened that Jabu Moleketi was the Deputy Finance Minister and the chairperson of...
So basically, right place, right time for them?
Yes, so...
All right, eNCA reporter Heidi Jacobs. Heidi, thank you for giving us an update there.